Good morning. So let's just have a look at this. Is feedback for the um, happiness paper 2018. Let's just go to it quickly. So this is the one we're looking at, English Language B, Tuesday, June the 5th, 2018. It's the happiness paper. What makes adolescents truly happy? Adapted from an article by Blythe Grossberg. And why does happiness matter? Adapted from an article by Mark Williamson. If you look at the bottom of the page, it will tell you where those articles came from, so that's really helpful on the day. So one's from a private school, about.com, issues a happy teenager's not a myth. And the other one is a Guardian piece, which is a quality newspaper. Okay, so we go down. So we've looked at section B in the previous video, and we learnt you're advised to use ideas from both text 1 and text 2 in the extract booklet, didn't we? 1 hour. So the next bit is section C. You should spend 1 hour on this section. Do not retell the events from text 1 or text 2 in the extracts booklet. So here we go. This is where you're free to do what you want. You're writing approximately 400 words. This is about what you do. You do that perfectly. So well done. Life is good. To what extent do you agree with this statement? Write a story, true or imaginary, entitled A Pleasant Surprise. Describe a celebrational party. 35 marks. So we've got your marvellous piece here, which is very imaginative. Hang on, let's just get there. Here it is. I might make this a bit bigger. I'm going to make this bigger. I'm going to make it to 12. Good. Okay. So how many words is it? 161. So yeah, 40 more words. Again, about 400 words. But yeah, you're spot on. So let's read it. The COVID-19 vaccination celebration. This is good, isn't it? You can see it's 2020, can't you? Oh, this is great. It's been a long 5 years, but here at the end of 2025, we finally have the vaccine. Sure, more than 10 million people have died, but it should never reach 11 million. Cases per day are plummeting, and scientists are working on vaccines for other diseases which have the potential to become a pandemic. It's an exciting time for everyone. While there are some people who have an IQ below room temperature in degrees Celsius who aren't happy, the anti-vaxxers, they're protesting, of course. They are shouting so loudly that they can be heard at the celebration. There is a 10-minute walk between the two events at least, so there will probably be good commentators. Luckily for us, none of the anti-vaxxers will be allowed in. They'll probably destroy the free vaccines. You want to know more about these vaccinations? The local scientists and doctors are vaccinating people on site, and after being vaccinated, you get some sweets. There are plenty of snacks to choose from: chocolate, biscuits, and crisps, and much more. There are even some vegan options if you require that. Hmm. Very imaginative. Of course, there are shops set up around the site selling gloves, masks of all designs, and hand sanitizer. Yes, a nice list. You can easily still get hand sanitizer doses for free around the event. There's even a shop selling t-shirts and plushies themed around the coronavirus. There is also a relatively large shop selling solid meals that come in coronavirus themed packing. They also sell alcoholic beverages to adults so everyone can enjoy themselves. Hmm. Quite fun, isn't it? Well done. You can also hear lots of coronavirus themed music throughout the event. These are songs made to be catchy and encourage good hygiene with their lyrics. They're on a loop and the playlist goes on for over an hour to stop people from getting tired of the same songs. Lovely. Overall, the festival has a wonderful atmosphere and plenty of visitors, all of which are following the social distancing and mask rules. To top it all off, all money raised goes to hospitals supporting coronavirus victims. By attending, you might just save someone's life. Lovely. Wow, that's rather imaginative, isn't it? So, when we actually do this, we use my recipe, if you remember the template, to get the best, which is my video template, and we look at emotive language, um, 8 types of punctuation, 3 different types of sentence structure, 8 types of punctuation. You look at direct address, perhaps rhetorical questions. I can't type, can I? Rhetorical questions. Look at, sentence structures. You vary that, sentence structures. You use interesting vocab, adjectives and vocab, and sophisticated vocab. You need to use imagery. So you've done that, haven't you? Okay, so let's just look at the mark scheme and then look at it again. So let's have a look at section C. Assessment objectives. AO2, adapt forms in writing for specific purposes. So you're doing a creative piece, aren't you? AO3, write clearly using a range of vocab and sentence structure with accurate spelling, paragraphing, grammar and punctuation. As no audience is specified, the examiner is assumed to be the audience. Candidates may choose a range of celebrated events which may be real or imaginary. There may be personal celebration or those associated with national or religious customs. Candidates should be rewarded for their power to evoke a sense of place and atmosphere using effective vocabulary. Examiners should be open to a wide range of interpretation. Well, I really like your piece, basically. I think it's really imaginative and it shows a wonderful sense of engagement with today's events and, a lovely sense of balance. So let's have a look. Have a little look for level 1 all the way to level 3. Then got up to level 3, which is 11 to 15, isn't it? Is it only going up to level 3? No, it's not. Here we are, level 5. Let's have a look at level 4 and 5. I might give you about... I'm going to give you level 4, I think. So I'll just tell you why. I think you're getting good at this. I like this. I mean, it's charming. Okay, so Control V. So here we are. I might put it in red actually. There we are. So you've got effective and sustained ideas. You talk it through, don't you? You have this celebration of the end of COVID. Well done. You've got a secure and sustained purpose, so you know what you're doing. You're telling us all about this celebration and perhaps the issues that you've got the binary opposition. You've got opposite people, the negative people, but you're doing you're looking at the you're describing in detail the celebration. You've got fully secure organisation. So you start overall. So yeah, so here we are. We start here with a flashback, don't you? And then you've got facts and a general intro, really, haven't you? So that's nice. Then you've got here. I quite like this. You've got the imagery. There are some people who have an IQ below room temperature in degrees Celsius who aren't happy. The anti-vaxxers, they're protesting, of course, they're shouting so loud that they can be heard at the celebration. So yeah, you've got some nice sound, sense description. Gosh, you're getting good at this, actually, to be honest with you. You really are. In your own individual way, you're very individual interpretation, and it's great. Yeah, so look, you've got direct address, you've got rhetorical questions. I'm happy with this. Very imaginative, bless you. Got a list here. You're either doing coronavirus or coronavirus, basically. You haven't sort of decided how you're going to spell it. I'm not going to penalise you too hard for that, but make sure you spell it the same way all the way through. But I'm not penalising you too hard for that, to be honest. So wonderful, that's obviously emotive language, isn't it? It's very individual. You've got brackets here, you know, so 8 types of punctuation, brackets, excellent. So you've got all different types of punctuation. You're good. Complex and compound sentences. You could actually do, to be honest, sentence starters. I might just put you the sentence starter video in. So you could work on sentence starters. I'm not moaning. I do like what you, but you know, if you want to really improve it, try and vary the sentence starters. That was what I would suggest. So let me just show it to you. Where is it? Yeah, you've got they, there, there, they. It's all sort of the same. But I mean, I'm not too bothered, but you know, ideally you may want to change your sentence starters. Yeah, so I think sentence starters could be looked at usefully. So I'll link you to the video, okay? But you know, overall, I'm really happy with it. So what am I going to give you? Let's just quickly give you a mark, and I'll link you to sentence starters. Where am I? So I'll give you. I reckon I'm going to give you 20 just because I like it. I'm going to give you control of the full range of punctuation marks is precise, enabling intended emphasis and effects to be conveyed. To point with semicolons, pairs of commas, dashes. We haven't got any dashes or semicolons, have we? So that's what you need to get to the whole, to get to the top. Semicolons. Grammatical structure is ambitious and assured. Spelling of a wide and ambitious vocabulary. Okay, good. I might put you at 8. Having said that, just use the semicolon. How many times have I got to say? I'm just going to check you haven't used the semicolon. If you have, I'm going to apologise and give you 9. Eight plus 20 is 30. How much is it out of? Oh, it's 28 out of 35. That's good. It's about 7 probably. So I'm just going to go back to this and just emphasise why you should use colons, semicolons, pairs of commas or dashes. I mean, I did give worksheets out and videos to be watched. So make sure that you actually use the semicolon and the dash. It's going to do semicolon. Okay, it'll take you up to 10. It'll really, really be good. I'm not even joking. I can't see any in there. Oh, hang on, there are plenty of stacks to choose from. Semicolon, but don't want much more. Actually, that when you use a semicolon, you have to actually. That's if anything, that is a colon. Okay, because it's a list, isn't it? Okay, so that's a colon really, because it's a list. and then if you're doing a colon, it actually got to have a complete sentence after it. The parents had to choose from chocolates. Chocolates do much more, and so you just put are available. Okay, and that would make it because. Okay, just to clarify, if you're using a colon, you need a complete sentence after it. Um, or if you're using a semicolon, you need a complete sentence after it. So we need to just have another look at the semicolon as well. I might just do that for next lesson, not this lesson, because this lesson I'm going to give you a sentence starters with dear old Mr. B, who I love. There he is.
Go in that corner, look at my front adverbials video. It'll tell you exactly how they are, how they use them, and what front adverbials actually do.
There he is. You're going to have to watch this, write it down. Hang on. Write this down and make sure that you do me 10 sentences using these sentence starters. And please use the sentence starters and the hyphens and dashes and the semicolons and the colons, all those things, and it'll take you up the grade boundaries. I've told you that. I've showed you the wonderful mark scheme, and just now you could see quite clearly where semicolons, pairs of dashes are, and the sentence starters again will take you up, and you could actually get really high mark here. Okay, if you obeyed my rules and did the most wonderful imaginative piece that you've just done there, that coronavirus celebration. Okay, so I'm just going to click this. You can watch this, please.
Hi guys, it's Mr. B here, and today I'm going to be looking at sentence starters. I'm going to be looking at these because being a teacher sometimes when I read people's work, it's let down, it's not as creative, and doesn't drag me in as much because they start the sentences in the same way all the time.
I'm going to stop Mr. B there. That's exactly what you're doing, all right? So listen to Mr. B and don't let me have to show you this video again. And yeah, he's doing some really cool ideas. Steal them.
That's normally using a, and, the sort of articles and indefinite articles, or even using pronouns like he, she, they, okay, we. And when they're used all the time, it gets repetitive, and it sort of makes the reader not care as much about the story. So it's I did this, I did that, he went there, she did this, they did that, the dog did this, and it just repeats all the time, and it's not the best at writing. To make our writing more creative and to drag it in, we can change the different starter sentences in order to get the reader more interested. Today I'm going to show you 6 different ways you can start sentences, and if when you're writing you use all these different varied ways of starting your sentences, it should hopefully make your writing a lot more eye-catching and grab the reader and keep them interested in your writing a lot more. Okay, now the first one that we're going to look at is starting your sentence with a subordinating clause. Now if you're not sure what a subordinating clause is, if you look up there, you click on there, you can look at my video on main and subordinating clauses. That will give you more in depth of what they are. But simply it's a clause that doesn't make sense on its own, and it normally starts with a subordinate conjunction such as because, although, if, as. If you Google online subordinate conjunctions, you should see a big list of different ones that you can start up with. So, as an example, we've got a simple sentence here, I went home, starting with our pronoun. So we're going to change this, we're going to add a subordinate clause at the start to change the way this sentence starts. So, now we've got, because it was cold, I went home. Okay, remember, we've got a comma at the end of our subordinating clause as well, but that adds more information, and it means we're starting, telling the reader the information straight away, rather than just saying, I went home. Okay, so we can start our sentences with a subordinating clause. We could use other ones. So because it was cold, I went home. Although I didn't want to, I went home. As I was finishing my work, I went home. Lots of different ways to start the sentence there. Let's look at our next way to start a sentence. So the next way that we're going to look at that you can start your sentence is using a fronted adverbial. Again, if you're not sure what they are, If you have a look in that corner, look at my front adverbials video, it'll tell you exactly how they are, how they use them, and what front adverbials actually do. Okay, it's basically in a quick going over, simple going over, it's an adverb that we put at the front of the sentence. Okay, so we got a sentence here, he hid until they were gone. Okay, what we've done is we've added fronted adverbials, so we're not starting with pronoun again to get bored and we use them all again, like we said. And we've got sneakily, he hid until they were gone. So it's telling us how he's hid, and it gives a bit more information about how the action in the sentence is being performed. Using front adverbials can really, again, drag the reader in, give them more information, and keep them reading. Let's look at another way to start a sentence. So the third way we're going to look at how you can start your sentences is starting it with a feeling. Okay, now we've got a sentence here. They looked everywhere for their dog. And what we're going to just do is put a feeling at the start with our comma to break it off from the main clause, and then repeat the sentence afterwards. So worried, they looked everywhere for their dog. Okay, so it helps us connect more with our characters, let us know how they're feeling. As well as that, a lot of people think, oh well, what's the difference between adverbs? And we put worriedly, they look everywhere for their dog. If you're using an adverb, worriedly, it talks about their action. So the way they look at it is, you can see that they're quite worried. Now, when we say worried, they look for everywhere for their dog, they might be quite calm, they might be quite good at looking for their dog in a pressureful situation even, okay? So they might not be worriedly looking for the dog, but they are worried. So it tells us how the character's feeling, not necessarily how they acted. Because we could have something like worried, he kept his calm. Okay, so that means it's not how they're doing the action, it's how they're actually feeling that. So it's quite different, and this is a really good one to let your characters really connect with your reader. Let's look at the fourth way that we can start our sentences. Now, this way that we can start our sentences is by using a verb that ends in ing. Okay, so no verbs that we're doing words. So we've got a sentence here, they did their homework all day. All we need to do is to add at the start of the sentence a verb that ends ing with our comma. Okay, so here we've got sulky, they did their homework all day. And this can let us know a little bit more information about, again, what's happening in the main clause. So we could have, he went for the bus. We could have running, he went for the bus. Walking, he went for the bus. And it gives us different information because those two different words completely change the way the character's acting in that sentence. And again, means we're not starting with a pronoun, we're starting with a different word that'll make the reader not bored of reading the same things over and over again. Now let's look at another way we can use our sentence starters to make our writing better. Now, another way that you can start your sentences in order to vary your writing is to use either a simile or a metaphor to start there. Okay, so we've got a simple sentence here, she entered the arena. Now, what I've done is I've had a simile at the start, as brave as a lion, she entered the arena. Okay, and that really gives us more information about the character, how they're feeling, what type of person they are. Because on the flip side, we could change that. It could be as timid as a mouse, she entered the arena. And that completely changes the sentences. So adding this more information keeps the reader involved, paints a better picture for the reader in their head, and that's why we use them. Again, it's got a comma to separate it from the main clause of it. So everything that we've looked at so far that we add at the start of the sentence is sectioned off with a comma even, okay, to separate it from the main clause of the actual sentence. Now the next way that we're going to learn is going to be the last way, and with that one is one of the only ways where we don't use the comma with these type of sentence starters to start it. So let's have a look at that. And this is the last way that we're going to look at to start your sentence to make sure we've got lots of variation there, okay? And this is simply starting your sentence with a noun or an adjective. Like I said before, articles and pronouns can be used a lot of the time to start sentences, and simply using a noun or an adjective to start your sentence can change it up and make it a little bit more interesting. I haven't used the example that we're going to change here because this one works a little bit different. But if we look here, we've got rainbows, which is a noun. Rainbows filled the sky. And on this example, we've got our adjective, magical stars stared down on them. Okay, now they seem like, oh well, that's an obvious sentence to do, but many people might write two rainbows filled the sky, or a rainbow filled the sky. Again, it means we're starting the same way that we're starting a lot of our other sentences. Some stars stared down at them. The stars stared down at them. Again, we're using the pronouns that we're using for a lot of them, or we're using articles. Whereas if you have magical stars stared down at them, it gets the reader more involved. When you start with these nouns and you start with these adjectives at the start, that there are times when you're really pulling that reader in. When you say magical stars stared down on them, night light shone from the window. Okay, and using that with the start of lots of sentences, it really starts to build a picture, and this is really good for help creating a scene in people's minds. Now, I hope you've enjoyed the video and it helps you improve your writing by varying your different sentence starters. If you have liked it, please give it a thumbs up just down there. And if you need any help at all or anything like that, leave it down in the comments or leave a message on my Twitter or my Facebook page, and I can see if I can help you out there. Again, obviously, if you found this helpful and you know anybody else that would use it, please share it. And of course, if you want any more help with your homework, anything like that, subscribe to the videos. I do put lots out there to try and help you guys, and hopefully we can help as many people as we can now. Until next time, see you later.
Hi, welcome to Write the Top. I'm Adam. In today's video, we're going to look at sentence variety. We're going to have a bit of an introduction into sentence types, but we're also going to look at different ways that you can make your sentences varied. You can have different types of sentences within each sentence type. Now, before I get into it, I just want you to understand this is a bit of a complicated lesson. It might seem a little bit advanced to some of you, but it's very important that you understand how you can change a sentence's composition, how to make use of different elements to get variety in your sentences, make your writing a little bit more interesting, and especially for those of you taking the IELTS, TOEFL, or any English exam where you have to write an essay, how